Greetings everyone. In this video, I'm going to be removing the little bit of the rear exhaust pipe here that sticks out behind the rear wheel. I don't really like the looks of this. It just seems to stick out way too far. And Toyota does provide a part. I'll have the part number and link in the description where it will actually dump the exhaust right before the rear axle. It's been referred to as a trail dump, trail exhaust dump, but the connection right there with the exhaust, I'll be removing the two 14mm bolts that hold that together. I'll remove the rear section of exhaust, install a new piece that just drops right there. So let's get to it and have some fun. The first step here is to remove these two 14mm nuts. The other side loosened up. Of course, now a police car has to drive by. You can see this flange starting to open up here. And he's coming this way. I'm going to go grab an extension and my smaller socket wrench because that'll make this a little easier. Alright, I've got my extension, 14mm deep well socket, excuse me. Let's get these off. Hold on to the nuts, you will need them later. Let me bring you in underneath here. These are where the two nuts were that I just took off. There's one hanger right here. And there's another hanger just past the axle here. I'm just going to leave this rubber hanger right where it is. I'll see if I can remove the hook, the hanger hook from the actual rubber hanger and leave that there. But I will just kind of play this by ear and see how things go. Alright, at this point I'm going to see if I can just remove this end from the hanger. Just going to push up just a little bit. Might need a little silicone on here to help this slide off. Let me see what I can do here. Okay, this is free from the flange. Tolerances on these are very tight. Okay, I got it off the hanger on the body. Now to get the back hanger, actually, you know what? Let me see if I can get it off now. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna put this back on the body. I just needed the right angle on it. Let me get the other hanger back there and see about fishing this out. All right, this is a great shot of the rear hanger. This is a little easier to get to. I'm trying not to bang up my bumper either. This is going to be the hardest part right here. There it goes. All right, just got it started through there, so just want to rotate it back and forth to get this loose. There it goes. All right, now this should just lift right up and over. Emphasis on should. All right, I've jacked up the driver's side of the truck as far as my jack will reach. Let's see if I can get that out now. I still recommend removing the spare tire. This gave me all the room I needed. Never mind, strike my recommendation for removing the back tire. You can simply jack up the driver's side of the truck. This is the new part. As you can see, it just hooks into the hanger right up above there. Points straight down, drops the exhaust out right before the rear axle, and makes life a whole lot simpler. Let's get this on. I'm going to put it on the hanger first, and then I'll work on getting it on the flange and the nuts threaded on. A little bit of silicone spray might be needed at this point. My truck is very new, and it's sliding right on. Yeah, that was no trouble at all. All right, we need to push up on the muffler. I'm also going to make sure, it looks like there is an exhaust gasket here. I'm going to double check the piece I took off to make sure I don't have a gasket there that I need. Nope, there's no gasket on that piece. Just a recessed flange like on this one. So we can tighten this down. There we go. Should be able to run this down a little bit by hand. I'll tighten it down with this wrench and then I will torque it. I believe the torque specs are 20 and then 40 and then 60 foot-pounds to make sure that the flange is tucked down tight and even. All right, I backed this off just a little bit. I brought it right down tight, but I backed it off because I want this to be nice and even when it tightens down. We're really close on both sides. I have a little bit of a space here, a little more of a space here. I'm just going to start knocking that down by hand here. Then I'll start working on actual torque specs. Give this a wiggle. It's on pretty solid. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and grab the torque wrench. Alright, that clicked. Let's make sure we get a click out of this side. 40 foot-pounds. It did not click, but that feels like way more than 40 foot-pounds. That one clicked. I'm just going to go one more time. I'm telling you, that's more than 40 foot-pounds. I'm not getting a click out of this side now either. Okay. I think my torque wrench might be faulty, but I'm happy with that. I've got some good leverage on there. This is not going anywhere. Nice short exhaust pipe. Cleans up the back end. I think it looks a lot better. I'm happy. Okay, and here's the after shot. So we'll come around here. No exhaust pipe back here. Nice and clean. I think it looks very nice. Come in up underneath here. You can see you've got the muffler there. And this nice short pipe that comes off. I think it finishes off very nicely. I think it's a very clean look. And if I ever take this thing off-road, which I seriously doubt, I'll be protected from crushing this piece that sticks out way too far and too far back. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll catch you in the next video.